I'm the first one to do that. I bet you never knew that. Back like a tailbone. Who you got the tail on? If it ain't about me, about whole D, about face. If you ain't on higher, learn it. The soda in the pot and the fire, burn it. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my guest. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my.
I didn't want to do this review. I did not. I try to avoid it. I tried to get over this review. That's the reason why that's one of the reasons why it took so long to do this review. One reason, well, I have three reasons. One was because of this. Y'all know what this is? I'll show you guys. Oh, man, this is the first time I ever did this. This is Diablo. I have been playing Diablo 4 ever since they made that new update. The game is great. The game is so fucking addicting. After I was done with Crow Country and Dave the Diver, I've been hearing so much things about Diablo to the point where it literally has obliterated people's feedback on Stellar Blade. Why? Reason number two of why I didn't want to review this, because I play Stellar Blade and it's a fucking chore. And people, I know people have been defending the game because of their pushback of just censorship or whatever, but let's be frank here. The game is not that good. It's not that great. And people are saying it's a masterpiece. Have we played the same fucking game? A masterpiece. A masterpiece? What part of this game is so different from other hack and slasher games? Is it better than the God of War games? Is it better than the No More Hero games? Is it better than Metal Gear Rising? Is it better than the Devil May Cry series? Is it better than the Nier series? I can keep going on and on with this. Is it better than the Senran Kagura series if we were going to go to that ecchi route? A masterpiece means that it's based on the creativity of what other games can compare it to. Now, there are some different things that Stellar Blade has done that made me keep playing it, but it's like holding on to two strings while you're weighing 250 pounds on your way to a hell pit, and those strings are breaking. This game pissed me off more than it satisfied me. And I was rooting for this game too. I bought the digital version and I bought both the uncensored versions to support Kim Young-tae. And honestly, I was so broken of just how I felt playing this game and just left it with a bad taste in my mouth to the point where not only did I regret buying these, but I wanted to give this away to my friend and he'd even want to take them for free. Do y'all understand why I don't want to review this game? Which goes to reason number 3. Well, I can't say I didn't want to for reason number 3, but this is actually the reason why I wanted to review this. Because y'all keep telling me to do it. And I don't know if it's because y'all like me ranting, or y'all just like me just foaming in the mouth and stumbling in my words and stuttering like that, or maybe all of the above. But I don't like doing that to y'all fans. I don't like showing y'all my dark side. I hate that type of shit. But it does feel good to take it all in, to bring it all out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to try to say this as calm as I can. And then not only that, but I just reached 1,000 subscribers. So I really can't ignore you guys. Y'all helped me get to this point. So to show some consideration, I will be more adequate of just how you guys want me to do this content. And I'll be more open to when I do it. And I have to apologize for being late. But y'all have to forgive me. Especially if y'all play Stellar Blade yourselves. Where's the headline at? Because I forgot the developer's name. Hold on. Okay. Stellar Blade is an action game that has been developed by Shift Up and been published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. In this game, you play as Eve as she ventures to save humanity from a relentless war raged by monsters and creatures in the distant future.
Everyone, I'm sorry I couldn't do more to help. I'm so sorry.
You know what really made me not want to play this game was because of the atrocious, unbearable, bad experience of the demo that I've streamed, you guys. The stream I did was very, 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 very bad, man. Like I was very, very uncomfortable playing the game. I felt nauseous playing it, but that's because of the gameplay itself. But I thought by me buying the game, they will fix those. Because normally when it comes to demonstrations, games, or stuff, whatever, they have the demo out, but they rarely update the demos, whatever, because they wait for the game to come out. And I thought that would be the case with Stellar Blade. But no, I played the whole game, and those issues that I did not like, but by me playing the demo, is still here. So, yes. Oh my God, man. The game is not terrible. It's not a game where you will want to stay away from, especially if it's free on a PlayStation. If you get the PlayStation subscription and if you've been saving your points, you can download the game with your points if there's nothing better else in the market. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to fix the lighting of this. It may not occur to the video, but it just keeps getting darker for no reason. I need to fix that fucking edit. I just hate automatic changes on technology. Going back to the review. The game picks up at a very fair pace to the point where we already get hooked in, we get embraced, we get the tension built in to the point where we want more of what's getting shown into us. By Eve already going into the planet, getting shifted in, and they just show her just... I can see why the feminist community and a lot of people on the LGBTQ side really hate this game. And this is the reason why a lot of us wanted to support it, was because of the fact that they were showing a lot of things that we have not seen in a long time. A broken chain of censorship of an immature game. And honestly, that didn't pull me in. What pulled me in was the fact that I was just getting embraced to the action. I was getting embraced to just everything that was getting thrown at me. A lot of action games does this. Name one Devil May Cry game that starts off in slow pace. Name one God of War game that starts off in slow pace. Every single hack and slash game starts off when you're getting hooked into the action with little character development and little dialogue. What I liked about Stellar Blade is that they kind of tried to change that by showing us Eve. It's showing us her other character, her other beloved character that we kind of get attached to later into the project. And that is Tahi. Now, everybody has a boner for Eve, but I have a boner for Tahi. Just her long hair and just her attitude is what was enough for me to get pulled in. But this is where they fucked up. They kind of showed this little embracement side of their attachment to the game, especially when we was fighting, like, you know, prologue bosses with her and stuff like that. But I kind of wish they bond would have built in more before bad things end up happening between them two and they end up being separated. Or how about this? While Eve was like being shipped off to the planet, how about you just have Tahi there with her while they're talking on their way there, as a credits being to show the developer cycle of them making a project. That would be a good way for us to be hooked in to both of them before shit ended up being taken hard, you know, into the aspects of their bond. As the game progresses, when we get over to the prologue, this is when we are shown the major engine of the game. Just the environment, the free roam aspect, and just her being across other characters and other people into the project that's going to help her later on to the journey. I just want to first talk about Eve and her character herself. When it comes to a lot of games, when it comes to hack and slashers, a lot of main characters are assholes. Kratos was an asshole for a long while. Travis from No More Heroes, he's a dick. Same thing with Dante, but they only dicks to the enemies. But Eve, she's very nice. She's a very kind-hearted woman. Especially when people was beginning to be jerks to her, but because of just, I don't want to spoil it, but just because of just how she presents herself and just knowing her intellect of just her culture. And Eve just took the pride down and just handled it with class. And it made me like her character a lot because I've kind of been there and done that with 2B and Kaine from the Nier series or whatever. Okay, these girls are badasses. They fight like badasses and their attitudes is like badasses. But me seeing Eve be a badass character, be a badass blade wielder, and just fighting and fucking enemies up, and her being very kind-hearted and just showing the other side of just coming through persuasion and understanding people. It was a breath of fresh air. Every time I seen Eve talk or just how she do things around the whole game or just when we progress with her, I end up liking her, even more. And it wanted me to I wanted to know more about her character as the story continues. The side characters was pretty good too. Not to the point where we begin to get relation to them, but as when the game progresses, we begin to like them as they was beginning to grow their bond by doing things for Eve and making sure that she has the resources that she has. Has the resources that she needs to progress through the journey. Like Adam. Adam is literally the guide for Eve. He literally tells her where to go, when to get there, how to get there, and above all, he gives her the resources that she needs to be ready up for battle. Now, when it comes to battle enhancements, that's when we have another character involved. Lily Artemis is her name. Lily Artemis, now, she's a young girl, and she's a technician. She's an upgrade weapons dealer. And what I like about her the most is that even though she's young, even though she has like that little lighthearted feel too like Eve, but she's down to business. There were some times when she even had to put Eve in check. Let her know, hey, listen, you can do these side missions to help these civilians out and stuff like that, but remember, you have a mission to do. And her young ass, I'm like, oh, come on. You're going to take that, Eve, but Eve, like, you're right. You understand. I understand, like, the mission comes first. So these side characters do stand their ground when it comes to things being done, and we begin to gain respect for them. And I like that when it comes to games like this, because majority of times it's always a main character's choice if they want to go forward or go backward or do things their own way. But these side characters, they literally let us know, hey, listen, we mean just as much as the main characters do. So we're going to do things the way where it's only possible. And I like that. I like that because it makes it more lifelike. And after that, after we get introduced to how the game progresses, how the engine of this whole project is when it comes to maneuvering the characters, maneuvering Eve, this is when we are introduced to the combat. I want to first talk about the enemies. The enemies is okay. No creative aspects of enemy activity. Especially if you already came across a lot of enemies from Devil May Cry. You're going to see a lot of Devil May Cry feels on this game. You're going to see a lot of Bayonetta feels on this game. You're going to see a lot of Nier feels on this game. When it comes to these enemies and the activity of just how they prolong themselves in Eve's path. You have tentacle enemies, you have alien enemies, you have possessed human enemies, you have demonic, like intergalactic robot creature enemies, all that, all above. Now, they all creative when it comes to the artistic way of how they look, but how they are when they present themselves, we kind of been there and done that. So, enemy activity, scratch it out the market. How's the gameplay itself when it comes to you fighting these enemies? How was the gameplay itself fighting these enemies? I'm asking you guys, the ones that said this is a masterpiece. You think I'm doing a metaphoric statement? I'm asking you, how is the gameplay of you fighting these enemies? Is it a masterpiece? Is it? Is it really? If y'all watch my Stellar Blade stream of just how much of a fucked up time I had defending myself, blocking enemies' attacks, and not just me, but anybody that played the demo, they would tell you. The combat is terrible. It is terrible. Now, don't get it twisted. It's not terrible when it comes to the fights. It's not terrible when it comes to the impact mode of you just being embraced of the enemies. It's terrible when it comes to the inputs of just how you can defend yourself. Now, you can upgrade Eve. They have an upgrade tree. They have a skill tree for you to learn skills, upgrade, and all that good stuff. You even have moves. You even have like trees where you can dodge, you can enhance your dodge, you can parry, you can enhance your parry. But you're going to realize something. You're going to still have a hard time parrying attacks, especially when it comes to bosses. And it's not just bosses. There were times where there was times when even I was close to death fighting a normal enemy, trying to get that parry right, trying to get that maneuver right, and it still didn't connect well. And I thought it was a glitch or something, but I looked at other streamers and they was having the same issue until Kim Young Tae literally mentioned and said that he wanted to challenge players by adding a delay to the parry pattern. Adding a hard mode to the game is not challenging enough. Like, fighting hard bosses and understanding their attack pattern is not challenging enough. Seriously? So you want to add a challenge to the game to maneuver through the gameplay mechanics of us enjoying the game by us understanding how we can control the character. You want to temper with the controls, that's not challenging. It's not challenging at all. That's like if you're having a Super Mario Brothers game and you just take the jump feature out of there. How the fuck we're gonna go through the other level? You know every game, every level of that game has gaps for you to jump over. Just like how in Stellar Blade, how they have every enemy that you have to attack and parry to. You wanna delay that so it can challenge players. As much as I rail on the Souls games, they even bother doing that bullshit. As much as I've died on a lot of Souls games, as much as I wanted to break the fucking controller, I still kept playing because they didn't fuck with the controls. They didn't even fuck with the enemies. I just needed to understand the pattern. But even if you understand the pattern of Stellar Blade, even if you understand how the enemy's predictions is, you still got that fucking counter switch that's gonna mess with you. So my recommendation to y'all is to dodge. Just to dodge, and even if you parry, you're still not gonna get rewarded as much. That was literally my main issue with the game. One of my major issues of the game was the combat itself. And people may say that, well, the combat shouldn't be what makes you hate the game. That's where you start from, though. You're going to play this game to fight. You're going to play this game to defend yourself. And you're going to play this game to protect yourself. But if you can't protect yourself correctly and you keep getting hit, it's going to bother you when you fight bosses and you can't parry right because of how cryptic the controls are. And it's going to bother you even more when you niggas running around the alley with their loud music. I must be getting old because the bass sounds ridiculous. But anyway, it's gonna bother you when you're fighting bosses and the combat is so cryptic to the point where you can't dodge and parry them correctly, and it's gonna bother you even more when you fight a regular enemy and you can't parry that shit and that little enemy is fucking your ass up, and it's gonna bother you a hell of a lot more if you're streaming and people are watching you and calling you a fucking noob. I didn't get that here. But Kim Young Tae, you fix that, then I might take my rating back. Because you're not going to like the rating when I'm going to get this game. I will say this, though, and I'll head on out of here. Speaking of music, the game does got good music. It has good embracing music when you go across these enemies to sink you in. I just like that music when he be like that hard alternative rock mixed with techno and stuff like that. That was great. It hooked me in. It hooked me in a lot. And it made me get pumped and made me get energized. But by me knowing how I was going to be when it comes to fighting these enemies, it kind of left me with one foot in the door and one foot out. I don't like the music, but I might not like the boss fight. I might not like the boss fight at all. And then I also like it when they have calm steady music, especially when you go into these lookouts in these bases where you can heal. And it gave me certain vibes of Bebe Gilberto and John Beltran, especially when they have music that didn't have instrumentals and have women singing like, I want to be a beautiful girl. I want everybody to accept me for who I am. I only beat the game once. This game has multiple endings. I played it, I skimmed through it, I left it alone, and I never fucking looked back. And thanks for Diablo, I've forgotten all about it, but people kept reminding me to try it out. People kept reminding me to play it. People kept reminding me to talk about it. And I'm like, oh my God, Stellar Blade does exist, doesn't it? I did make a pamphlet to talk about Stellar Blade, didn't I? I did make a pamphlet about it, right? I was hoping y'all would forget about it, but no, y'all kept talking about it. Y'all kept wanting me to say something about it, so here's the review. And here is my rating for it. I'm gonna have to give Stellar Blade a D. What makes me not like games is when I can't enjoy it. What makes me not enjoy it is the fact that I can't play it correctly because y'all mess with the controls. What's the most important aspect of a game? Being able to play it. And I don't know, Kim. I really don't know. I could have forgiven everything that everybody's talking about when it comes to the censorship. The censorship was kind of what bothered me too, because I wanted to. That's the reason why I bought multiple copies of the game, to support you, because you are doing a stepping stool of just going against censorship. But you're not gonna bite the hand that feeds you. You're publishing it through Sony. Sony is the king, the queen, the LGBTQ, the it, the non-binary prince or princess or prince it of censorship. You making that game the way that we wanted to, they would have allowed that. Only way if they would allow that is if you bow down to the rainbow flag. If you let Sweet Baby Inc. be in charge. They would have let you put all that stuff on there. If you would have let Eve be gay. If you would have let Adam be trans. If you would have let that little girl, I forgot her name. If you would have let her watch some unnecessary cartoons that involves trans people. But you didn't do that. You stayed away from that. So they told you, listen, you want to make this game be released? You got to take that shit off. That's just literally how Sony works. The cat is out of the bag. It's been out of the bag for years. And people are still denying that shit. And I really feel bad by giving y'all this bad rating. Well, there's two reasons why I kind of want to let it go. One, false advertising. And I should have known better because of what I mentioned. Because that was never going to happen to the end of time. Number two, lack of controls. But I kind of feel bad though, because this game had so many advertisements coming, coming to your face or whatever. I was going on social media, Instagram, X, Facebook, you name it, and there was always Stellar Blade advertisements, people pushing the project up. There was even like a Stellar Blade dance or some girl just dancing, and there was like advertising Stellar Blade, and there was even a Stellar Blade music video. Music was sounding pretty good. The song sounded pretty good too, but I wish that same energy was on the gameplay. You know, when I go to that side of going against woke culture, we gotta cut it short here. But I'm not wrong though, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not wrong. But either way, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for more of my upcoming reviews and game videos headed your way. Hopefully I got a good video game review coming, because I hope Stellar Blade is like, ugh, I hate reviewing bad shit. This is Hugo, your critic teacher. You guys have a good day.